Hello, Demis. Welcome to the newly named WrestleMania Now Your Demographic podcast.
That was a good one. I was not expecting that.
As you can tell, we're doing a Google Hangout. Sadly, Erin doesn't feel very well, but we put our personal health at risk for the enjoyment of you Demis. So Erin is still gonna do it. We're just doing it over the interwebs. Did you drop out already?
Can you hear me?
I can now. Did you say something?
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah. Okay. Just say something.
Sorry if I'm a little low energy. I have a migraine. I am sitting in a very dark room right now, trying not to look at light. So I'm trying. I'm here, but I'm trying.
It's helpful that you're staring at a computer screen full of light, I'm sure.
Oh, I've turned the brightness down to almost nothing, and it's literally just a black screen with your Google picture in it. Which is actually pretty helpful. I mean, rather than like a pulsing white light right now, for sure. That's what I was in my office when I started to get the migraine. And are you one of those people who gets migraines or do you not get migraines, Stella?
I get migraines.
Okay. So how do you get the aura beforehand where like the lights start to come in?
A little bit, yeah.
I get that really heavy, like an hour and a half before I get a migraine, so I can usually catch them. But I was like sitting at my desk looking at my very bright computer screen, and I was like, man, I'm having a real hard time reading all these words on this. Oh, God. I had this like revelation, like, oh my God, I'm stuck in this office for an hour and I can't do anything about this migraine. So I just like took a bunch of aspirin and was like, please go away, please go away.
Yeah, I might also be a little low energy too. I had such a masochistic day. I woke up early.
Oh.
I got my vagina waxed. I got my eyebrows threaded, and then I got tattooed for 6 hours.
So you love pain is what you're saying.
Beauty is pain.
That's the truth. Beauty is pain.
It was my first time getting my eyebrows threaded too, and everyone's like, "Oh, it hurts, it hurts," and I'm like, "Yeah, but everything hurts. I mean, I'm getting my butthole waxed, like it all hurts." But the threading hurt in a way that I wasn't expecting. It just was shocking. So like my eyes really started watering. Not that I was like crying, but like my eyes were just like, "Oh, what's happening?"
I mean, yeah, you're getting the space on your face above your eyes poked at.
Yeah. I mean, my eyebrows look great. I've been growing them out for like a month, so now I look so beautiful. And my tattoo is not finished, but all the fruit is done. Next time we're gonna finish the bat. But oh boy, my arm hurts because color sucks.
Yeah, how many different colors do you have too? I know it's not just one.
It's a bunch of different greens for the leaves and white and a couple purples for like the plums and then some like orangey brown reds for the dates. It's a lot going on.
Yeah, I can see how that would really fucking hurt.
Yeah. And it's a cover up too. So the cover up part, they go over again and again and again and again because they're literally covering up a tattoo. So my arm is pissed.
Well, I'm glad that we can both do this from the comfort of our own homes, at least.
Well, it's always in the comfort of my home. So.
Well, we can both be in the comfort of our own respective homes.
Do you happen to be wearing a wrestling something or other?
I do. I am wearing my Carmella hat because that bitch is going to lose at WrestleMania, and I've just accepted it.
Well, she said you can't believe everything you hear on the internet.
Yeah, well, I don't have high hopes. Once I realized that if she cashes in at Mania on the Charlotte-Asuka match, that Asuka can win without Charlotte losing, like, it seems kind of inevitable at this point. But like, I don't want her. We recorded some Patreon stuff earlier this week and this weekend, and so we talked about this a couple days ago. But she has to cash in. She can't just let her thing expire because that's insane, and it would be such a stupid ending for. I mean, they already fucked up her winning the Money in the Bank briefcase in the first place. To then let it expire is just like the dumbest thing they could possibly do. But like, it's not that weird to have somebody lose a contract now, even though we said before, like, she really shouldn't lose it. She shouldn't be the first person and lose it. But it kind of feels inevitable now.
Well, I don't know. Do you think they'll take away her new catchphrase, Mela is money, since they got rid of the moolah stuff?
Ooh. I don't know. I feel like they might almost want her to keep it just so they can be like, it's about Carmela. It was never about Moolah.
It fits her character, so.
Yeah, it totally fits her character. And like, yeah, give it to her. Just give it to her. Also, maybe you should strip Moolah of her title reign. Maybe that's a great way to get past having to outdo her streak. Just take it away. That's a good way to do it.
Oh, yeah. Fuck that bitch.
It's like they can't. It's like they don't realize that they control their own narrative unless they're using it to whitewash away women pimping out other women. I don't know. It's weird, right?
So weird. I am wearing my brand new bar shirt, but it's not their new bar shirt. They came out with a new one, which I don't know if I like better, but I was like, I already bought a bar shirt, and I cleaned out my closet this week, and I got a fucking cool with the wrestling shirts, because it's like if I took all my wrestling shirts out, I would have no clothes.
Like, right?
I gotta cool it.
I totally understand. We're far enough out. We're far enough yet close enough to our honeymoon that I have to like start thinking about what I want to wear on the honeymoon so that it doesn't get like stuck in the laundry cycle. So I like kind of have to be a little more cognizant about what I'm wearing. I was thinking about it and I was like, I'm literally just going to bring a bunch of fucking wrestling shirts with me. I don't even know why I'm pretending like I'm not. I'm definitely going to do that because it's such a huge part of my wardrobe.
Yeah, I really like this shirt though, and I wanted to get one of him and Cesaro before Sheamus has to retire. So
right, exactly.
Also, Wakanda Forever.
Also, Wakanda Forever. That was really funny.
It was really funny. All right, news. The WWE is dumb.
WWE thought that they could just disable the comments on a bunch of videos. Boy, were they rock. Boy, oh boy, were they rock.
Can't disable the comments on fucking Twitter.
Or Deadspin.
Oh, man. Yeah, it was funny because, like, so I was, I'm done with this quarter of grad school. Woo, woo. But so one of my classes
congratulations.
Oh, thank you. So one of my classes was sports blogging. So I had to, my final was like, you had to write 7 separate days of stuff. So they were essentially timestamps. So the thing, unfortunately for me, like a lot of the stuff happens on a Monday and Tuesday night. So I was like, okay, I'm going to stay up and write. And so I started writing an article about like what a hug means in Bayley's world and like blah, blah, blah. Like, oh, she's not hugging Sasha or she like what can we infer from a hug? And I was like starting to write that. And then the Moolah thing came on and I was like, delete. I guess I'm writing about Moolah now.
Right? WWE was like, here, Stella, here's your final assignment. And you were like, okay.
All right. Yeah, I mean, absolutely absurd. And then, like, I knew that, I was positive that Deadspin would write about it because David Bixenspan is a very open and opinionated writer when it comes to WWE. I really like his stuff that's not judgment. But when like Forbes picked it up and Newsweek picked it up and Snickers released their statement, I was like, oh, this is for realsies. Fuck you guys. You guys made a dumb choice.
Super dumb choice. And also like did they really think that no one was going to have a problem with this? Like,
well, they got away with it with Ultimate Warrior. So I honestly think that they just thought that they could rewrite the narrative. Because like, even though, people like us complain about Warrior and there have been articles here and there, like it hasn't received as much attention that they feel like they have to change it. And obviously Warrior was an insane dick, but like, like pimp women out, like it's very different. Yeah. But I just think that they thought that they could get away with it because, like I said, when we were talking about the journalism debate, WWE doesn't care necessarily what the wrestling websites say or think. They care when it gets picked up by the big, like, Newsweek or, ESPN or shit like that. When it gets picked up by bigger affiliates or like non-wrestling affiliates, that's kind of when they start to pay attention. And that's what happened. And I think, that plus their sponsor being like, hi, we don't want to be tied. We're a delicious candy bar. We don't want to be tied.
They used the word unacceptable in their statement. Like, that's not small potatoes. That's not a soft statement from a sponsor. That's a, like, oh fuck, that's a world ending, we gotta fix this shit statement. Like, unacceptable is a strong word to use in like a branded PR statement. It's like, yeah, they knew right away. And also, you know what, this is really heartening in some ways, because like, I know there's a bunch of people who are like, it's only because of the sponsors that they did this. No fucking kidding. That's how everything works in entertainment.
But the sponsors took notice because it was such a shit show. If it wasn't a shit show, the sponsors wouldn't have taken notice.
Exactly. And so I think it's like, this is a good sign for people who want to make good and positive change within WWE, because now we know the real trick is not to even talk to WWE about this shit. It's immediately to go to their sponsors and be like, hi, did you know that you as a child's candy company are now paired with a pimper of women? How do you feel about that? Like, that gets results in a way that going to WWE does not anymore. And especially with Stephanie trying to pretend like, we listened to you, universe. Like, bitch, you disabled the comments first. We all saw it. Like,
I have her tweet pulled up. It says, thank you, WWE Universe, for using your voice. What remains most important is that the at WrestleMania Women's Battle Royale will be a historic match and is part of WWE's unwavering commitment to our women's division. Hashtag women's evolution. Hashtag change the name.
Oh my God. It's so, you know what would have been a great commitment to women? To name it after a different woman. Pick anyone else. Literally anyone else.
Yeah.
It's just like, there's this huge list of women that they could have picked. Like, we talked about this before. Like, it could have been a Sherry Martel. It could have been the Miss Elizabeth. It could have been the Joni China Lawler. Like, it's just, it could have been the Wendy Richter. Like, it's just bananas. And I know that the reason is because they had a fucking Moolah trophy made and now they can't use it. So they have to not name it something else until they can have the time to make a trophy made. But at the same time, like, who cares? Just take the top off the trophy. Who gives a fuck? Like, just give it a better name. Change the name. Don't change it to generic, there is no women's history in wrestling tournament. Like, that's what it says. It says Moolah is our only history, and if we don't use her, there's no one. Like, that's also a lie, and it's really insulting.
Yeah, I mean, it's all a mess, but I'm glad we don't have to talk about it anymore.
Yeah, me too. And like, genuinely glad that they changed it. And fast, fucking super fast.
Yeah.
Like, they doubled down on Tuesday on SmackDown by being like, we're not gonna listen.
Hard.
Yeah, doubled down super hard, and like, made all their fucking superstars tweet about it, which, watching all of them just scrub that shit as fast as they could was really satisfying. Also, fucking, I did not know that Sasha didn't say anything. Didn't even do the Naomi.
I didn't realize it, because we said Naomi, she just retweeted. She said, I'm not gonna say anything, but if you're gonna make me tweet, I'm gonna retweet it, but I'm not gonna like suck Moolah's dick. And we were like, that's pretty ballsy. Good for you, Naomi. But I didn't know Sasha didn't tweet at all.
Yeah, didn't say anything about it. Like, girl, good for you. Good for you.
Yeah, I mean, what are they going to do? Get rid of Sasha? LOL.
Yeah, LOL. And also, I noticed too that apparently Liv Morgan also did something along that lines where she like was like, I don't know about all this. And then the second they changed it to the WrestleMania Women's Battle Royale, that's all she tweeted was WrestleMania Women's Battle Royale. I was like, damn, Liv Morgan, you got me over. That's legit. I like that a lot. Also, Becky Lynch scrubbed all of her stuff the day after. Didn't even wait for WWE to change the name. Just scrubbed her shit. Was like,
and gave like a really like banal statement to somebody. They were like, what do you think about the women's, why do you think they chose Moolah? And she was like, she had a long reign in WWE.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say anything positive or negative. I'm just going to give you a fact. Kyle he's a writer at Cage Side. He had a really good point when he tweeted, for the second year in a row, fans have affected a change to a women's match at WrestleMania. Because last year, remember, they were going to put they were going to put the SmackDown Women's Championship on the pre-show, and we all flipped our brains because, like, obviously, like, we talk about this all the time, but the pre-show is not part of WrestleMania. It's not. We were talking about it when we were recording our WrestleMania Every Mania Ever for Patreon. Like, when they start doing kickoff shows, do we watch them or not? And, we decided that we're going to watch the Mania and have that experience. And then if there's a pre-show, we'll watch those matches after, so it doesn't affect how we view the Mania. but like those frankly don't count.
Yeah,
they don't
and
count.
They're not included in any of the royalty DVDs. Like, they literally don't count. You don't get compensated the same way if you're not on the main show, and then you don't get the royalties from those DVDs. So, like, it's a significant pay cut to be on there. And also, fucking Naomi was competing for the championship and was gonna win, and they wanted her to make a daytime outdoor entrance. Like, for real?
That's like having, like the Undertaker's entrance. Remember that one year when it was like really light out? Like, it didn't work.
Yeah,
some entrances need it to be dark.
Exactly. Yeah, and it's like you guys know this, and you know that we know this, and that we're not idiots, and so it's like. But that's a really good point. I didn't even think about that. That was just last year that happened as well. Like, I'm really glad, because in the last 2 years at the last Manias we got the women's belt, which we never existed before, and then the next year we as a universe got the SmackDown Women's Championship match moved onto the main card, and now this year we affected the Moolah, no longer Moolah Battle Royale. Like, that is really heartening, actually. That's like, that is a lot of change that has happened just in the time that we've been doing in this podcast, which is kind of incredible.
Sorry, I just started reading a thread, Lady J. Apparently something happened with one of the London riots guys, and she's like, do you think like something bad? And she was like, do you think that, I don't know, but she tweeted and was like, do you think you could go back right now and watch Progress from the beginning? And that made me think of our conversation. I'm going to cut this part out. I just thought it was interesting. And some people are like, no, I don't. And Jay said, I personally have been a huge Riots fan since the word go. So I've spent a lot of the past 3 months trying not to vomit every time I think of what I've written in blogs or said on the podcast supporting him as a part of that team.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa. Which one? Do you know? Did she say?
No, I don't. JD, I guess. I don't know. We're on like chapter 2.
Yeah. Oh shit. Well, that's uh-oh.
What happened with the riots? I'm gonna text her. Or like put it in the chat.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I would like to also know what's going
on. T-Puddle. So we're on chapter 3.
Can someone give us a heads up, please?
Can someone fill us in on the riots thing? Yeah, because we said that we really liked the London riots.
Yeah, because their first match was great, and that's all we've seen.
Anyways, well, you know, Ding Dong the Witch is dead. Theoretically, we don't have to talk about her again. But I'm really proud of us. The dumb internet wrestling community banded together and we did something good for once.
You know what? I agree. And it's nice, too, that, like, it seems like it really was the majority of people, too. And it's not just us inside of our own wrestling bubble that we've built. It seemed pretty universal that people were like, this is unacceptable. You can't do this and pretend like it's something that's okay. Oh, I also had a thought too. I bet one of the reasons that they thought that they can get away with it, because you said before about the Warrior Award where it kind of just got like squishy washed in. Part of the thing with that is that he got inducted into the Hall of Fame right before he died, and he was clean and kind of sane at the time, and so they did the same thing that they're doing with Jeff Jarrett this year, where it's like, this is a success story we can tell before he either relapses or dies, and then he dies immediately, and then his beautiful wife is now the person who represents this thing.
His beautiful wife who is blonde and dumb as a box of rocks.
Dumb as so fucking, like, dumb as a shoestring. So dumb. But she, like, now gets to be the face for this and can be this sweet, low-spoken woman. And so she's, and her name is Dana Warrior. And so it's kind of the Dana Warrior Award. It's not really the Ultimate Warrior Award. It's not the award he said he wanted in his fucking acceptance speech anyway. And so it sort of is the Dana Warrior Award, which I think is why it squicks past in a way that this couldn't. They tried to just like drop this in our laps like, hey, I brought you a treat, and instead it's like, I think the fuck not. No. So it's, I think that that's the big difference too, and that they were just too dumb to realize that that's what was happening.
It's just, I mean, we're dumb, but are we that dumb? Come on, WWE.
They hope so. They really truly hope so.
They really, truly hope we did.
They hope that we're forgetting that for the first 6 months of, or I guess the last 6 months, because Mania is in April. The last 6 months of 2017, they told us that the Undertaker had been retired by Roman Reigns, which no longer exists in their history. So they think we're that dumb. So maybe they do think we're this dumb.
Well, Roman retired Undertaker. He didn't retire Biker Taker.
I hope to God he comes out as Biker Taker. I want him to do the full lights down, creepy Undertaker music entrance.
No,
and just
Kid Rock's
no, hold on.
Kid Rock has to sing his theme.
I'm not done yet. I want them to do that whole thing and all the smoke comes up and then he doesn't come out and then they're like, boom, lights come up. Then it's Biker Taker and then Kid Rock is there. I feel like that's the appropriate way to do that.
For sure. I mean, you can't have John Cena. You can't have Roman Reigns retire the Undertaker. Have John Cena call him out by calling him old, which is like, oh my God. Yeah, he is old. Let him die in peace.
This decrepit old man sit by himself.
Right. But then also be inducting Kid Rock, the singer of Biker Taker song. If they don't have Biker Taker come out, I'm going to freak out.
They're not gonna. They want to trade on the Undertaker music coming out.
Love Biker Taker.
You're right. I know that they do. And also, like, you're right. Kid Rock is gonna fucking be there also.
It just would seem like a huge misstep if they didn't.
I've never in my life advocated for Kid Rock to do more of anything. But you know what? I would accept this as more of him on WrestleMania. It makes more sense.
You know, it's really funny. So I was watching that Kid Rock segment on Raw while Nick was in the other room talking on the phone. And while that segment was on, I had this thought. I was like, man, I'm really glad Nick's not in this room because Nick is always like, you know, Kid Rock's not that bad. His music's okay. And he has some and he goes on to these weird tangents. And I'm like, oh, I don't want to hear it, Nick. I hear it all the time.
No. Oh, no.
Kid Rock apology tour.
That's so weird. I cannot remember who tweeted this, so I apologize for not giving credit to this person, but I saw someone say on Twitter that the only requirement for being inducted into the Hall of Fame this year for WWE is that it had to be somebody who could unequivocally, no matter how much anyone tweeted at them about it, not be embarrassed about the fact that they're now sharing this honor with Donald Trump.
Yeah,
and they picked the fucking right person. Like, really did. Because I think that's a really good point. It's a great observation because this is the first time they've had an induction since he's like it happened last year, but that last year was a whole different animal.
Yeah.
It was still very soon after the election. It kind of didn't really feel real yet. And now we're like a full ass year into this disaster of a presidency. This year they had to pick someone who wouldn't be like, no, I refuse to be in the Hall of Fame with this fucking idiot. So it's, in that sense, I think they did a great job of choosing Kid Rock.
I absolutely agree. So apparently the guy had some sexual relationships with somebody under 18.
Oh, great.
Womp womp. Anyways.
Ah, Jesus.
Well, I know that we oh shit, how did you want to put in the fucking interview? I feel like we should, when we have interviews, we should say it up top, and I always fucking forget.
Fuck. Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
Whatever, we can just tag it in at the end. But then it seems like lame.
I mean, if it's in the description.
Yeah, but people don't listen all the way to the end, and that feels like a shitty way to put it in.
Let's see.
Here, let's pretend that it's before the wrestling shirts, and I just said that you were sick or whatever, and then we'll throw to the interview, and then we'll move on, okay?
Okay, that sounds good.
Before we get started today, we have a really cool interview with the promoter and booker and producer and I don't know, the everything of Kaiju Attack Wrestling. DDS, he, like we said a couple weeks ago, we went there for my birthday and I had such a good time, and they're a new local promotion and they were really inclusive and are doing interesting stuff, not just like, you know, indie wrestling. It was more of a theater wrestling experience, and it was really cool. So I wanted to have him on, and we chatted a little bit with him about the origins and the inclusivity and like what his goals are, and then he also talks about the upcoming show. So we're gonna tag that in up top, and then when you come back, we'll talk about, I don't know, Aaron, what do we usually talk about?
News. There'll be probably a news noise. And then after that, we'll probably talk about, listen, ding dong, everyone knows what we're going to talk about after this interview. Okay, so we'll see you on the other side.
Awesome. So if you're in the Chicagoland area, we hope that you enjoyed that interview and that you check them out. Their next show is on March 31st. It should be really, really fun. The Haters Ball dress up. All right, now's the time. Perfect. All right, let's go into Raw. Oh wait, no. Man, this is gonna be a mess at it.
Sorry.
That's okay. Okay, I really just kind of want to focus on Raw and SmackDown this week, just to kind of keep it short because you're not feeling good. Short, LOL, not your demographic. But the one thing, instead of doing a TNA 3-minute, the one thing I want to talk about is the Impact Knockouts Championship. There was a matchup between Chelsea Green, aka Laurel Van Ness, and Allie, and it was an excellent match. It was so good. The storyline was good. Allie's like underdog come up was good. Like Chelsea Green has become such a good wrestler. Allie's character has really flourished, and you know, we all know that Laurel Van Ness, Chelsea Green left Impact, so she was the champion. She was going to drop it sooner or later. She did drop it here, and Allie picked it up. Allie's the new champion, and it was just, as somebody who watches, it was just so satisfying because Allie and Laurel have been enemies from the moment that, you know, Allie came on with Maria, and then a couple months later, Maria brought in Laurel to the Lady Squad. And from the moment Laurel came on, Allie and her have been like enemies, like nemesis. And so this is like a culmination of 2 years of storyline and like character build. And it was just like a really awesome moment. And the match was good. The story was good. The women were incredible. And it was a rare moment where like everything in pro wrestling just falls together. And it was awesome.
Oh, that's so exciting. Okay, I will definitely watch that tonight then. Yes, excellent.
You should. I would highly recommend checking it out. It was, I watched it like 2 or 3 times. Like, it's not the best match that I've ever seen ever, but like I said, it was just the culmination of this 2 years of storyline, and it was just awesome. I really enjoyed it. This week is Feast or Fired, so I assume that means that EC3 is going to get the fired briefcase.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's a clever way to get rid of him, obviously. Right? Do you know off the top of your head, you may not know this, do you know off the top of your head where in the episode the women's match starts?
Yeah, it's like around 40 minutes in.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome. It's after the X Division match, so Matt Sydal is now the grand champion and the X Division holder, which means that they're probably going to mush those belts together. Well, I think Aries picks him up later. I don't know. TNA spoilers. Who fucking knows? Matt Sydal has both the belts, and then Aries has his belt. There was a match between him and Johnny Impact. It was a good match. They had never wrestled before. Alberto El Patron came out and like clapped and laughed at the end, which is like, who cares? Fuck that guy.
Yeah,
can't wait
that guy.
He's gone. Fuck that guy. Oh, also, I think how they're going to get Lashley out, because, you know, there's so many people left. It's like, how are they getting them out? I think that Brian Cage is going to eat him.
Like, literally eat him?
No, I think he's going to beat him up. But like, you know, Lashley was supposed to have a partner or something, and the OVE was like beating him down. I think it was supposed to be Lashley and Eddie Edwards, but Eddie Edwards obviously had his face broken. So Cage came out and helped Lashley. But then at the end, when Lashley tried to like shake his hand, Cage was like, psh, chump. And like, Cage is big enough, and they're building him in a way that he could take out Walking Armageddon, Bobby Lashley.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Because you said he was going to eat him, I immediately thought Lucha Underground style, because Cage is also on that show, and I was just like, how is that going to work? I don't understand. I like really had to question it for a second, but yeah, that totally makes sense.
Regular wrestling eat, not Lucha Underground eat.
Yeah, like really had to think about it for a second.
Yeah. So with NXT was good this week, but I think the 2 things that are worth talking about is that Ember and Shayna are going to face each other again. They had a good face-off. Man, I am just over OVER on Shayna. I really am. I think everything they're doing with her and everything that she solo is doing is fucking great.
I completely agree. I have like totally gotten over in her. I think that they understood how to book her in NXT and have executed it super well. And I
she's
like
really stepped up.
Yes, I completely agree. I like that her promos have gotten a lot better. Like she's still hesitant about some things, but she like believes in herself in a way that she did not like when we saw her at Shimmer a year ago. Like she just is more connected in like in that character.
I have a small complaint about Ember, and it's always bothered me, and it's really starting to bother me a lot. So on the Indies, she was Athena, right?
Yes.
We get it. Athena, Greek goddess, we get it. On NXT, she's not. She's Ember Mood. She's supposed to be this like wolf creature or something, but she always wears the like gladiator gear, and it doesn't work.
You are not the only person who has said that to me. Devin also pointed that out to me and was like, I don't understand why she wears this. Like, yeah, totally. Like, I like it and I like the way that it looks, but it doesn't make sense on her. And it's weird too because I feel like not Shayna, the other MMA, Sonya.
Sonya, she's got a gladiator look and it works for her because she's supposed to be like this fighter, capital F. But Ember is supposed to be this almost like ethereal creature. And they've backed away from the wolf stuff a lot, which I get. Maybe that's why they're like, just go back to gladiator. And I think even one of the commentators said something like that on commentary about like Grecian or gladiator or gods or some god of war or something. They said something that I was like, oh, so you're trying to sell the costume? Like, but it just doesn't, she just needs a new gear redesign. She's gone through so many with NXT and she's such a good wrestler and she's getting really good on the mic and, you know, the crowd loves her, but like her look and her character design, like none of it makes sense from the purple and blue hair down to the gold and red gladiator shit. Like it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I totally agree. I really like Ember, but there is a disconnect and it's like hard to get invested in her character and it's because she has no character. She isn't really anyone. Like we don't really know anything about her. We don't know anything about why she does anything that she does, like, and her look doesn't give us a clear narrative about who she is. It's just everything's kind of jumbled and she just needs more cohesion and I like her a lot and she's a great wrestler, but you're right, there's just something about her look that does not work.
Yeah, it's just started to really bother me lately. I really like that we got Dakota Kai and she got a little comeuppance on Shayna. I thought that was nice.
Yeah, I agree. I really like Dakota Kai. She's fun. She's a really good baby face. Like they desperately need baby faces, period.
Everywhere.
Not just women.
Every promotion ever needs baby faces.
Absolutely. And she's just really good at it. And like her look is so fun. And she's so like, I love the way that she does her hair. Like she's just very appealing. And you're right. It was nice to see her like get hers a little bit.
Yeah. Obviously we have to talk about 205 Live, but I did want to mention that I love that Hideo and I like that Akira and Kalisto acted as like the bouncers to their tag teams. They were like holding back Lince Dorado and holding back Hideo. Like I really like that. I don't know why.
It's because
like, come on guys.
It's because they felt like an actual tag team. Both of them did immediately.
That's true.
And I think that they're clearly centering the start of this cruiserweight tag division around these guys, and I think it's a really smart move, especially because they have no goddamn idea what to do with either Hideo or Akira, and so why not do what you do with the other dudes who weigh more than 205 pounds, stick them in a fucking tag team, like, perfect. That's exactly what they should be doing, and it felt so smooth, and it just, like, works inside of this story frame. Like, I'm still pissed that the women aren't getting tag belts before the cruiserweights, but at least they're doing a good job of like really trying to fit guys together in preparation for an actual tag division.
Sorry, Nick just got home and is just like screaming. I need him. Can you hear him?
No.
Like, on the phone and is talking so loud. He's like laughing and like scream laughing in the other room. I'm just gonna text him like, can you talk quieter? You fucking idiot. Yeah, I love Akira Tozawa so much that I think I just love everything that he does. But I also like that Hideo, because it works with his character, that he has this vicious streak, and Akira's like the nice, bubbly one that will fire you and smile in your face. That like that balances out really well. I also like Hideo's like new finisher. Maybe I liked how he did the like he pulled the guy back almost into a dragon sleeper, but then like kneed him, and it was like it was like kind of a submission, but kind of a GTS. It was like, I'm good. If you're not going to let me do the GTS, and I don't want to do the Rings of Saturn, because like that was very much Neville's move for a while here.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to kind of just make up my own nonsense, and I liked it.
Yeah, I agree. At first it was like, was that intentional? I don't understand. And I rewound it and I watched it again and was like, oh yeah, this is they're both prepared for him to do this move this way. And so it didn't feel like it was an actual accident. I think you're right. I think it is some kind of like new together finisher. Also, I wonder if maybe now we can look out for someone else doing the Rings of Saturn. I feel like that might be more and more likely as we get closer and closer to WrestleMania. Like, Neville still works there. He is not released from his contract and might come back. Like,
yeah. Braun and Neville. Braun and Neville.
Oh my God, I would die. I would die.
Hey, I know that they won't do it, but like I would be all in for it. And I know most of the internet that we talk to at least would be in for it.
I also feel like if he really refuses to come back as a cruiserweight, and God knows I understand why, he would totally
because he was just absolutely disrespected.
Yeah, 1000%. Like, I can totally understand why he'd be like, let these guys do it now, and don't ever put me back in this division. Like, bring him back as fucking Braun's partner. They would be a hilarious, like, tiny tag team for a second.
Yeah, I think it would be great. Anyways, the thing that we really have to talk about 205 Live is that bomb-ass match between Cedric and Roddy. And the fact that Cedric Alexander gets to go to WrestleMania.
I know. I definitely cried.
I did too. It's so funny. So I was watching it today when I was getting tattooed because, you know, I had to be there for a long time. And I was like, do you mind if I watch something? Like, I need to watch it for this thing I do. And she was like, no, not at all. And he was like, you know, was it Dasha was like, hey, how do you feel? And he started to tear up, and I was like, Cedric.
I know. Oh my God.
How far we've come, Cedric, from us just talking about your butt in like bingo halls.
I know.
You go to WrestleMania.
Oh my God. I know. There was a moment where it was right after he won, before he gave his teary speech, which was beautiful, where I realized like it could be Drew Gulak, because they like to tell a very clear face and heel story with these kind of matches, and so I feel like Drew could totally win and go to WrestleMania, and I just started like sobbing. I was thinking about watching the two of them wrestle in Logan Square Auditorium like 2 years ago.
Right.
It was just like really overwhelming, and I was like, oh, I totally understand why. Like, I didn't experience Daniel Bryan. I came in right at the end as he got hurt, and I never got to really see him as an indie wrestler until I already knew who he was. But this is the first time I've really been like, oh, I get it. I totally understand how he got so over with so many people. Like, I just feel so connected to Cedric and Drew after having seen them in a fucking bingo hall. Like, it's just like amazing to watch them do so well. It's so exciting. And Ali too. I mean, that's absolutely true for Ali too. Duh, he's from fucking Chicago.
I know. I was just gonna say, do you not have that same? Because like I feel like we're in a win-win situation all around.
Oh, we 1000% are. But it's like it's Madrubu. Of course, I'm gonna immediately go to that with Drew. Like, and also like I'm so happy that he's doing so well. But honestly, I really hope that what happens is there's some kind of shenanigans during the Drew and Ali match, that they have some banger ass match, and then they get like a double DQ, and all three of them go to WrestleMania.
I think that might be wishful thinking.
I don't know, man. Last year they had a singles match that they put on the pre-show, and now both of those dudes are gone. And also they like all three of these guys, and they could put, and they haven't had a triple threat match for the cruiserweight title, and it's another way to make it seem more legitimate that three people want it. Like, honestly, the fact that it's only ever been singles matches for it is kind of weird. They've never done that, so I don't think that WrestleMania is an unheard of place for them to try something like that as well, knowing that all three of them can really fucking perform.
Yeah, I guess that's a good point, and everyone would be like all in for it too.
Oh, 1000%.
Yeah. Huh. I didn't think about it that way because I was just like, either way, we're good. But yeah, you're totally right.
I mean, any three of those outcomes, Mustafa Ali going by himself, Drew Gulak going by himself, or both of them going together, and all of them, whatever, winding up versus Cedric at WrestleMania, like, okay, awesome. I will take any of these.
What did you think about, wait, hold on a second. We didn't talk about Fastlane, did we? Because that was just this Sunday.
Oh, no. We didn't.
Okay, we'll just talk about Raw and then we'll go into all the Fastlane stuff.
Okay.
So are you buying Vince McMahon and Roman have disagreements storyline?
No. I mean, this is obviously a work. I think that they're making the best of a bad situation in a way that is kind of unexpected for WWE.
Yeah, I actually don't. I know everyone was like, oh, LOL, they're just trying to bring back Steve Austin versus Vince, blah, blah, blah. But I think this actually kind of works. And like Brock sucks. And even if like they're letting Roman say that Brock sucks, like I'm glad that they're letting Roman say that Brock sucks because Brock sucks.
Yeah, and also like even if Roman is doing the same kind of thing, it's still true. Vince McMahon is still an old asshole. Like it was true when Austin said it, and that's why that storyline works. And it's true now, even more so. Like, and I feel like if they do this with Vince and they make it versus him and he winds up fighting the Authority, LOL, in the same way that Seth already did, but whatever, Roman could actually permanently, quote unquote, in kayfabe, get rid of Vince. Like if he's really leaving to do XFL stuff and it's like the company is like really transferring into the hands of Triple H as like the leader and like total endpoint of authority, like that's a pretty great way to get Roman over. That's something that they would be unwilling to do with literally anyone else, but maybe are willing to do it with Roman and Vince. That like we finally get to say goodbye to Vince in storyline and forever because of Roman. Like, yeah, that would work. I would get over on that. I totally would. Like, this is the most I've ever liked Roman as a character because it feels genuine. Like, because you're right, Brock sucks, and it sucks to have Brock be fucking off with the title, and all we ever get is Paul yelling about how Brock wants to fuck the title or fucking whatever. Like, it's just. They've wanted Roman to be the voice of the people for so long, and this is a legit reason to put him as the voice of the people, and I'm enjoying it. I like it a lot. I'm in on it.
Yeah, I liked it a lot more. Even though it was kind of spoon-fed to me, I still liked it.
Yeah, I agree. It's like they've embraced the idea of like, oh, you'll actually like this. We don't have to like shove it down your throat. We just have to like feed it to you slowly, and you'll actually eat it on purpose. Like it's nice that they've like figured that out.
So, how are you feeling? Last week you and me had a little bit of a different.
Wait. So, are you drumming on something?
No.
I can hear like really loud tapping coming from your mic.
No. Can you still hear it?
No, it stopped now. Okay.
Weird.
Yeah, sorry. I was like, I know you're gonna listen to this, and all you're gonna be able to hear is this noise.
That's so funny.
Okay. Wait, there it is.
Last week you had different feelings than I did about Sasha and Bayley. What are your feelings this week?
I don't know. I like it. I like the story that they're telling. I think the reason that I felt so frustrated before was that we were just waiting to be on the other side of Fastlane, and I was just annoyed at like, okay, now we already got the turn sort of at Elimination Chamber, and now we're just like putzing along until we're on the other side of Fastlane, and now we're on the other side of Fastlane, and it feels like we're actually building up to a match, which I like a lot.
Do you think they're gonna have a match, Bayley and Sasha at WrestleMania, or do you think
I do.
You do? Okay.
Yeah, I totally do. I think that they're gonna try to fit. I think they're gonna do like we've seen in watching our Every Mania Ever series on our Patreon. LOL, donate to our Patreon. That the smooth that. They're going to go back to having more shorter matches. It kind of feels like they have enough stuff to fit into this big ass 6-hour block that they block for themselves, that like they may put them on the pre-show, but they're still going to have a banger match, and I will enjoy it. And like, yeah, they should be on the main card. Duh, it's fucking long as hell. But I feel like Kevin and Sami might wind up on the pre-show too. So if they're going to put grudge matches on the pre-show, there totally feels like a place for a Sasha Bailey match.
Yeah, it's weird. I usually would be up at arms, but if Sasha and Bailey ended up on the pre-show and both the championship matches were not, I think that I would be annoyed, but also kind of okay with it.
Yeah, and also if they're gonna do the Andre the Giant Battle Royale, the LOL WrestleMania Women's Battle Royale, a grudge match from SmackDown between two men, and a grudge match from Raw between two women, that feels okay to me, actually. I'm not upset about that. Again, both of those singles matches deserve to be on the main card so they can get paid for them in the same manner. But as a pre-show, that's actually a pretty solid pre-show.
But do they even have time to build to what Sasha and Bailey have? Like, I feel like you could put them in the Battle Royal and have, continue their build of fucking each other over in, the Rumble and the Elimination Chamber, and then this Battle Royal again. And then I feel like this is a feud that they could pocket until SummerSlam, to be honest, and slowly continue to build it.
Absolutely. I think they totally could do that. I think that they should do it now before they fuck it up, though. I'm worried that with a lot more time, it'll just fizzle out and turn into fucking nothing again. Like, we're in a hot streak in this feud that they could have this match at WrestleMania and have that feud continue on until it culminates at SummerSlam. Sort of in the same way that they did while they were at NXT, where it wasn't like they didn't just have one match. Right. They had several matches that built in intensity, and I feel like to just do the first them wrestling no kind of gimmicks attached to it match, WrestleMania is a pretty good place for that. SummerSlam could be a better place for them to have a 2 out of 3 falls match or a ladder match or fucking any other crazy bullshit that they wanted to do with the two of them. Like, Charlotte's gone and now it's Sasha and Bailey, and like, let the two of them wrestle. They're clearly very good at it.
Yeah. Did you think for a moment during Miz TV that they were going to add a bunch of people?
No, I was pretty confident that it was just going to remain.
I got nervous for a second.
I think they understand that they have like lightning in a bottle with the three of them.
For sure. I absolutely agree. I had a moment where I was like, shit, because I obviously didn't know what was going to happen with Braun, that I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Speaking of Braun, so it was supposed to be the Bar versus Miztourage, but then because the Bar has been such dicks lately, the entire tagline came out and was like, "Oh, you don't think there's any competition?" And so then at the end of the show, they had the tag team battle royal, which I don't think I personally ever, or can't remember ever seeing a tag team battle royal. I kind of liked it.
I think they've had them. Didn't they have one on SmackDown to determine a number one contender, like within the last year? I think they may have. That was when that's all they did. I mean, SmackDown's a little different because obviously their format is different, and also they like focused really heavily on their tag down. But for Raw and in like as the A show like scene, I can't remember the last time they had a battle royal with the tag teams because there fucking aren't very many. Stella, are you there? Stella, where did you go? Nope.
Are you still there?
Oh, there. You're back now.
What is the last thing you heard me say?
I heard you say, you're right though, about the tag teams.
Oh, okay. That's so weird. It just like signed me out.
Yeah, it's weird. It didn't say that you had left the call. It just totally went silent.
Yeah, dumb. Okay, I'll reset that. Yeah, you're right about the tag team. I guess I just didn't remember it because SmackDown and Raw are different shows, obviously. But yeah. I love that. I mean, if you had written down Braun coming out and doing what he did on paper and showed it to me, I would have rolled my eyes until I died. But it actually because of the performer that Braun is and how everybody sold it and how the bar sold it on the outside, like, oh shit, what's happening? How commentary sold it, like, it really works. And whether or not Braun even gets a partner, I think it will still work. If he does get a partner, I think it will be really dependent on who his partner is. Like, if you just give him Gold Dust, it's not going to work. But if you bring like Neville in, it will totally work. I don't know. I think it's just, I'm giving WWE credit. Like, I think it's a very creative storyline. They've been doing really cool shit with Braun.
Yeah, I totally agree. And it also felt like it was really weird that Braun wasn't on the WrestleMania card, and this brings like an element of surprise to it that I was not anticipating. I agree. I give them credit where credit is due, that this is an interesting creative choice, and I'm glad that they're trying shit with him that they like. Who the fuck else would they ever do this with? No one. So it's I like that we're getting to see stuff that feels fresh and new because it actually is fresh and new.
Yeah, absolutely. So we obviously haven't talked about Fastlane yet, but Asuka came out to to talk about her choice, and Alexa and Mickie came out. Mickie not looking as hot as she did last week, but still looking
know.
good.
R.I.P. her bodysuit. It was too good for this world, I guess.
Yeah, R.I.P. like hot biker mom. But Alexa gets all yuppity because, you know, she can get into Asuka's face now because Asuka's not going to fight her, which weirdly led to a match between Asuka and Mickie, but whatever. I don't understand how pro wrestling works. I watch it every week and I still don't understand.
Yeah.
I really actually enjoyed this match between Asuka and Mickie, though. I just really, it's weird. Like, the more I see Mickie, I've always liked her, but the more I see her, the more I'm just like, you know what? Fuck yeah, Mickie James.
I agree. I mean, I didn't have any kind of nostalgic connection to Mickie, which is fucking weird to say nostalgic connection about somebody who is not that old. But
you know what? It's funny. I didn't either with WWE, but I did with like TNA, which is weird.
Oh, okay. I mean, that makes sense. You've watched TNA for a fucking long time. But it's like, she has really grown on me in a lot of ways. And also, like, I'm not gonna lie, it does help that she doesn't have those dumb pants on anymore. Like, I know that's a really weird, superficial thing to say, but it's kind of like we were talking about Ember's gear, where it's like, those pants are so weird and don't fit with the character that you're playing that I just feel completely disconnected from it. And like, her gear has just stepped the fuck up lately. And I'm like, you're a great wrestler, you're a great personality, and now your gear matches what a badass you are. And it's like, I'm in. I totally dialed in on it.
Yeah, I'm just cool with that. But of course, this leads, Asuka wins, obviously. Duh.
Duh.
But, you know, there was a moment earlier where Alexa tried to call Nia out and Nia didn't come. And, you know, Nia and Alexa have this backstage segment where Alexa makes sure that Nia's in her corner for next week. And Nia looks kind of sad, but it's like, yeah, I love you too. Like, it's fine. She's clearly still being hard on herself and blah, blah, blah. Nia has a squash match, you know, Nia squash matches. That's what it is. But then because TV magic, Alexa and Mickie James are talking shit about Nia, but Nia can see it because the camera and the microphone are on because Charlie was supposed to interview them. So it's really Charlie's fault. But you know what I liked? I like that. I mean, Mickie was catty, but Mickie came in and was like, Alexa, that thing that you said to Nia last week was messed up.
Yeah.
Like, that was mean. And Mickie was said it in like a laughy, jokey way, but like, Mickie didn't actually do anything bad here. I mean, she did. Like, she shouldn't have been laughing and stuff, but like, Mickie could still totally turn face again. I don't know if they were protecting it or if it was just trying to make Alexa seem like the absolute monster that they're trying to make her. But I just like that Mickie was like, hey, you're being an asshole.
Yeah, I think it was a little bit of both, actually. I think that it was a little bit protecting Mickie so that she's not quite rock bottom and can be a little more flexible in where she fits in their heel and no faces spectrum, basically. And I think you're also correct that they wanted Alexa to seem like an absolute fucking monster, which worked. It did work. It was vile.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy that we get Nia as a face because I think she'll actually be a good face. And I'm happy that we got to see Nia like destroy shit and Alexa run away like a coward. And I think this will be a good match. But I just feel like turning the pretty blonde into just a typical, like, she's a bad guy, so she's gonna be a mean girl, but just like a typical stereotypical bad girl, and then also just being lazy writing and be like, oh, you're small and blonde, so we're gonna make the big girl mad by calling her fat. Like, it's just lazy writing to me.
Yeah, it's very lazy writing for sure.
I mean, is it working? Yes. Does Alexa seem like a monster heel? Yes. but it's just not very creative.
And also, I feel like there's the added element because WWE has opened kayfabe in so many ways. A lot of people already know that Alexa has suffered from an eating disorder for a long time, which like builds this extra layer of skis onto this. Like, it's not only lazy writing, it's really inconsiderate writing. Not just because like you shouldn't be saying these things about Nia and it's inconsiderate of her as a person. It's also really inconsiderate to make Alexa a demon for being a body shamer when she herself like already really suffers from that. It just is like
stupid.
Yeah, it's very stupid. That you're totally right. It's stupid.
Yeah. I don't know. If Nia doesn't come out on top as the Raw Women's Champion,
she has to.
I know she has to, but again, we're talking about WWE. Did we not just have a conversation about how fucking stupid they are?
And how stupid they think we are.
There's like a fucked up world where like Charlotte beats Asuka and breaks her streak and Nia loses to Alexa. And it's just like this weird dystopia.
Oh my God.
I hope that it doesn't happen, but there is definitely like a potential for a weird dystopia.
I hope that I don't actually hope this. This is like best case of a like weird bad scenario. I hope that Carmella does cash in during the Charlotte and Asuka match and wins the title and breaks Asuka's streak. It would be the perfect ending to her Money in the Bank run. Like absolutely.
No, that's what I agree. Like we talked about it before. I agree, but I don't think that they're gonna.
Oh, there's fucking absolutely no way that they're gonna do it. But that would be pretty cool.
Would be pretty cool. Final Deletion is happening next week, or the Ultimate Deletion, whatever. The deletion is happening next week and not at WrestleMania.
I mean, it looks pretty legit. It looks pretty.
I mean, we got Rebby laughing with a baby strapped to her, so I'm like being.
Two babies. There's two babies strapped. It's the Ultimate Deletion, so it's ultimate baby strapping.
No, only Wolfgang is strapped to her. Maxwell's too big to be strapped to her.
Oh, you're right. You're right. That's fair.
I know a lot about House Hardy.
That's true.
So Jeff got a DWI this week, and I liked how all of the Hardy gang, like Matt and Rebby, like they didn't like, I feel like in the past they would have not said anything because WWE is such monsters, and either they have power now or they don't give a fuck, which I think it's kind of both, but probably more that they don't give a fuck, but they like spoke out in support of him, and they didn't let it just get like swept under the rug. They were like, this is our brother and we love him. And so like he's probably in the Final Deletion or the Ultimate Deletion. They might cut him out, but he's probably in it.
Oh yeah, for sure. Although Rebby did make a statement that like if they removed him from the universe, that the universe would still work, and she's right. And they did that. He was out of the universe while he was injured for a really long time, so it's not that like they don't want him there, but it is possible to do it without him.
Well, yeah, the universe started because he was injured. Like
right.
That's how it started.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting. I will save my feelings until I actually see it.
Yeah, I
just have a feeling that Bray Wyatt's gonna ruin it.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I know that the Hardy stuff I will enjoy it the same as I enjoyed the other deletion stuff because they were good in all of it. Like all of them made it work, and they have been consistently good inside of the Broken and Deletion universe. And so I'm worried that Bray's gonna be bad. I don't know, like he was the better part of that stupid House of Horrors match.
Well, that's because Randy Orton sucks. Full stop.
Exactly, but that's the thing is like he had to make it work. He had to make it work for him and like be on it in Randy Orton's terrible universe. And the fact that he could make that match was bad, but it was bad in a way that I enjoyed, in the same way that I enjoyed the original Final Deletion, where it's like, this is so fucking ridiculous. I cannot believe that they actually committed to this in a way that they didn't before. And like, they ruined it by having him get in the car and then come back and whatever. It didn't matter. But it like, I don't know, maybe Matt will push him to a place outside of a WWE ring where Bray will actually excel. Like, it is very different than a normal wrestling match. And like, Bray did the best with it when they tried to rip it off with the New Day that he possibly could. Like, I don't know. I have higher hopes for this than I know. Bray's gonna fucking lose. I'm 100% prepared for that. But I don't know. I feel like he might be okay. He might do all right at this.
I hope so.
I also really hope so.
Yeah. Ugh. Ugh. Okay, SmackDown. So SmackDown opened with an AJ promo just being like, I beat all these men. I don't deserve it. I earned it, which is true. I mean, that match, the six-pack challenge on the face lane. God damn it. Fastlane. The six-pack challenge on Fastlane was shockingly good.
Yeah, there were a lot of parts of it that I enjoyed. It was long, and I was like, this inevitable. It felt inevitable, but I thought they did a really good job of like that the drama between Cammy and Shane McMahon like really helped fuel the end of that match. Like I really enjoyed the story that they were telling, and I thought that it really added to this six-pack challenge.
For sure. And having all of this stuff go down with Cammy and Shane, but then Cammy together, and then having AJ get up from being like powerbombed or whatever onto this table and like sneak a win with like the sickest phenomenal forearm was awesome. Because, you know, AJ's a great champ, but there were people in this match that are incredible. And I think the fact that he eked out a win makes him still look like a good champ, but also doesn't discredit everybody that was in that ring.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
So I don't know. I did think it was weird that, okay, so Rusev lost to Nakamura.
That was a great match, though.
It was a great match, but I don't understand why Rusev fought AJ on SmackDown. So AJ's giving a promo. Nakamura comes out. They have their moment. Then Rusev comes out to like interrupt. But then why was it Rusev and AJ? Why do you lose a match and then you get to fight the champion? I know it wasn't for the belt, but it was just weird.
Well, I think that Rusev has the same sickness that Bray Wyatt does, where it does not matter how many matches he loses. He comes out and he will do whatever the fuck he wants, and he will pretend like he has won every match he's ever been in, and it works for Rusev in a way that it does not always work for Bray Wyatt. Like,
because it's always Rusev Day, so he always has something to celebrate.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's kind of the thing. Is it's like he's lovable in a way where he's like, I just want to ruin everybody's party, and Shane's like, okay. So I think that's part of it. Is like Shane is wink a face, but is not really, and like we'll just do things to fuck people over. And like Shane has documented I don't like yous with AJ Styles, so I don't know. It didn't feel weird to me that they were fighting. It was just like, okay, you just fit inside of this narrative. That's fine.
I mean, it did set up that Nakamura was like, I'm always going to save you because I want you to be the best AJ Styles when I beat you.
Yeah, so, like, I really liked that. I thought that was really good. I wonder if that means that later when, like, Nakamura's not going to not do anything until WrestleMania, I wonder if when he's in the same situation, if AJ Styles will also save him.
Yeah, maybe. I just did like that AJ was like, I don't need your help. And Nakamura was like, I don't care. I'm essentially your bodyguard until WrestleMania.
I know. I loved it. I love Nakamura, it seems excited to be there fucking finally, which is nice. And like really seems excited to be doing this feud. And the fact that they could like rope in Rusev and use him in this way, and that like Nakamura gave a fuck during that match. And it was clear that he gave a fuck when he does not a lot of times now because he doesn't have to. And Rusev gave a fuck in a way that we don't get to see him give a fuck hardly ever anymore. So it was really nice to watch two guys who have had like really fucking boring runs lately just get to have like a banger match. It was just and I'm glad it was first. It was the right choice to open the show with. It was just, I really enjoyed it. I'm really glad that they did it. I'm glad it went well.
Rusev may have lost a lot this week, but he had a good showing character-wise because it was Lana and him versus Charlotte and Bobby in the Mixed Match Challenge, and
which was really fun.
It was really fun, and you know, I obviously have my ups and downs with Lana, but I think Lana has really shown during the Mixed Match Challenge, and I think her being managed almost by Rusev works really well. And when Lana like wrestles on SmackDown, I want him to come out and like be in her corner. I want Lana to be a part of the Rusev Day faction. I want it to be Lana and Aiden and Rusev. Like I think that makes sense, and I think that they could use it on the women's division and the men's division. I think that she should just be a part of that faction.
I agree. I think that's a really good idea. Because I agree that Rusev acting as her manager now after all of this time, like they have all of this history, and so you can tell this really good story of her being his manager and getting him to this level, and then now he is paying her back because they're husband and wife now, of bringing her up to his level as a wrestler, and that they've then brought in Aiden to be the voice of Rusev and Lana Day. Like it's just it's an easy faction to put together, and I feel like WWE could really benefit from putting more factions together right now. It's just a bunch of people like blowing in the wind with no reason to fight each other than the club, basically, on Raw, it feels like, and the New Day. Like, just put some people together, like make them tag up. Titus Worldwide is fun and has been fun for a long time. Like, it just makes sense that they should like start creating more little pockets of people. So I agree. I think that's a really good idea.
I mean, obviously in a different way than Sanity, but like think about how much Sanity has benefited from Nikki Cross being there and like being
Absolutely.
active, not just like a pretty face. Not that like her character is pretty face, but you know, Nikki is pretty. I just think that they could, you know, they're towing the line with this mixed match challenge. Like they could toe the line more in a Sanity style way with other people, and I think Lana's the right choice to try it on the main roster.
Yeah, I think you're right. Absolutely. And I think the fact that like Lana isn't great, but is doing a great job. I agree.
And has really committed character-wise to being
absolutely
like, funny and silly and like
it's awesome. She's very good at it. Like she is good at her comedic timing with Rusev is excellent. I'm sure it's because they're married and because you like we've talked about this before, like IRL in our lives, about when you live with someone for a long time, their humor just becomes so finely tuned to what you like and what's going to make you laugh, because that feedback is important in those kind of relationships. And I feel like they're probably like that.
Oh, for sure. I mean, even just Rusev on Total Divas, like he's like a big weirdo. Like I'm sure he's just a big like imagine like how weird Nick is, but if we did like a Total Divas style, like he would still translate as a fucking weirdo. Like
oh my god, he would be like the John Cena. That's exactly who he would be. He'd be like, I'm gonna make a joke out of the fact that this camera is here, and I'm gonna be punny about things, and you'd just be like, oh my god, I'm gonna murder you. I know how that would go.
Murder the Bludgeon Brothers.
I don't know. I was upset at first when they came out and they like ruined this match, basically. But at the same time, like, I don't know how we didn't see this coming, right? Like,
I feel like I saw it coming and then I forgot. Like, I feel like when we were talking about it, I didn't see it coming Fastlane wise, but you know, they had interrupted New Day and the Usos so many times that like,
yeah, I guess I just forgot that they had been doing that.
I love Luke Harper, but like the Bludgeon Brothers are forgettable.
They are forgettable, and I love Luke too, and I'm glad he's not in that disgusting shirt anymore. And I want to see him do really well. There's just something about Rowan that is really unlikable, and I don't like him. And it's weird because he's not a bad wrestler. He's not a great wrestler, but he's not a bad wrestler. He's not as good as Luke Harper, but he's I don't know. Maybe it's because I remember that fucking creepy storyline that he did with Renee years ago, and I just like can't get past it. But I just don't like him. Don't like him at all.
Yeah. And also like I just love the New Day and Usos, so it's hard to be like, yay, Bludgeon Brothers over the New Day and Usos.
I mean, give Luke Harper another tag partner. Give him anyone else and let him do a different gimmick. I don't care what it is, just like separate him. Maybe, and I think maybe it's also just because we knew the Wyatt brothers for so long.
Just the Wyatts without Bray Wyatt. It's dumb.
Yeah, exactly. And like they're really they really get the fuzzy end of the lollipop on that one, that like there's no way to disassociate them. So, but I feel like they know if they break them up, Rowan will just get released. I'm like, sorry.
Sorry. I mean, the New Day and the Usos, but especially Xavier sold the shit out of it. Like they did a really good job in that segment, and I liked Jimmy and Big E like teaming up on SmackDown. Like I thought that was, and Big E being serious too. Like, you know, before Big E was a New Day, he was like the bodyguard and bruiser. It takes 5. Like this is a side. Obviously, I prefer like Peck Meat, like dancing Big E. Like that's the one I love. But like I like to see different sides of Big E, and it was nice to have him be like, I am very strong.
Yes, I completely agree. And I liked too that they had that moment where it was like, yeah, it doesn't matter that we're enemies and that we will continue to be enemies after this is over. Like, they have hurt our family, and I really, I don't remember which Uso is injured and which one is not injured. It was
I think
Jimmy.
Jimmy is the one that fought with Biggie, but
Okay,
I don't
so
know.
Jimmy,
I gotta be honest, I can tell female twins apart. I cannot tell male twins apart.
I can only tell Jimmy and Jay apart when they're standing next to each other. When it's them alone, it's really hard for me to tell which one is which. But I'm pretty sure it was Jimmy. So Jimmy called immediately as soon as he walked up. He called Big E Oos, which I liked a lot. It was like this immediate bond where they were like, our family has been injured by the same people, and so now you and I are brothers in combat until we can avenge them. It was like such clear storytelling. I just really liked it. I thought it was great.
So we finally come to the moment where we can talk about Charlotte and Asuka. I guess we should talk about Charlotte and Ruby. Like, I feel like the crowd wasn't in on that match, but Ruby did a good job, and it was a good match.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I thought that they did a good job of making making Ruby look like she was a real contender. It wasn't just like I just like snatched this title shot away. It was like, I fucking earned this. Also, she's been there for like less than a year, and she's having title matches on the pay-per-view before WrestleMania. Like, I'm so happy for her. That I'm just so glad. Another like person who is a huge part of my indie journey, and now I get to see her perform on this like massive stage. It's just so exciting.
Yeah, I mean, it was a little bit of a clusterfuck with the Riot Squad and then Becky and Naomi and like whatever, but like the actual in-ring stuff with Charlotte and Ruby, I thought was really good.
Yeah. Oh, we didn't talk about the I guess we're like sort of going by SmackDown instead, but the tag match was also really good with those women. It was weird to see them come back in this circumstance, but like they had already fought and had this.
To be honest, yeah, I forgot about the tag match.
Yeah, it was good. It was fun to see the four of them like just get in and like get to wrestle for a while. It was like they do that with men so often that I just enjoy that they did it.
It fell apart at the end a little bit because I think there was some miscommunication with Natty or something. So the ending was like a little like, what is happening? But it was fun to just see like a tag match and just have them on it. Like, I think that sometimes I wish that they had belts. So like these tag matches that they do all the time would feel like something. But I mean, the fact that at least we had two women's matches on the pay-per-view is better than nothing. And, you know, we got to see Carmella and Natty won, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Carmella and Natty won, and like Carmella and she won, and Carmella won on SmackDown too. And like Carmella needs to be looking strong if she's gonna cash in, even if she loses. She needs to look like a contender.
Absolutely, yes, I totally agree.
Anyways, whatever. Who cares about anything? Because Asuka has officially challenged Charlotte.
Yes, I was so excited. I was watching it with my friend Andrew, and he watches enough that when I came over to his house for dinner a couple of nights ago, I was wearing my Naomi shirt, the Feel the Glow one, and he recognized it without seeing her name on the back. And I was like, oh, okay, so you're like a step above casual now, where you can like recognize wrestling merch without a person's name on it. All right. So he came over and watched it with me, and we sorry.
Do you need help?
No, I'm okay. I thought my buzzer was ringing. I'm sorry. Our buzzer is like, it sounds like it's croaking, and so sometimes people will ring it, like they'll ring a bunch of buzzers in a row, and so I'll hear everyone else's, and then I'll notice that mine is croaking. All right, sorry.
No worries.
Okay. I'm sorry. I do not remember what I was talking about.
Andrew and Asuka.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So Andrew came over and we're watching, and we get to the end of this match, and we're talking about how Ruby did a great job, and I got out, I bet Asuka will challenge her for the title next, and then literally Asuka's music hit, and I was like, yes! I'm so excited! And it was like fun to watch it with Andrew, and he was like, I thought she was on Raw, I don't understand what's going on! And I was like, oh, you're literally their demographic. This is really exciting to see you react in real time to this. So that was fun too, to like get to watch it with somebody who's like, this is his first build to Mania, really. He's watched SummerSlam with me a couple times, but has never watched a Mania before. So I think this is the first year that he's like really into it and is like enjoying this build. So it's cool to like get to watch that journey as well. I just remembered that. So it was fun to watch that, the like joy of a child in wrestling.
Well, I'm probably gonna have people come over for Mania again. He's more than welcome to come.
We've already been claimed by Devin. Sorry.
Oh, all right. Well, it's fine.
He claimed me a month ago, and he was like, "You watched it with Stella last year. You have to watch it with me this year." I was like, "All right, dude, whatever."
I'm not claiming you. I don't think of you as property to be claimed.
I know.
I'm inviting people to my house, and my wrestling
I
watching
know.
schedule does not revolve around you being there.
I know. It was a joke.
Um, I know that we anticipated Asuka challenging Charlotte, but it just I maybe I just was like focused on I was excited to see this Ruby match, and like when Asuka's music hit, I felt like blindsided a little bit, even though I shouldn't have been. And it was just a good moment, and their face off in the ring and like breathing really heavy, and like Charlotte looked scared but also excited, and like it was it's just exciting, and I'm excited to have the build, but I'm wondering if Asuka after this match with Alexa is going to go over to SmackDown and build it, or I don't know. That seems a little. It was weird to me that Asuka showed up on Raw the night after.
Well, I feel like it kind of feels like Asuka's just gonna be on both shows. Like, it's only 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's a bunch of people that go back and forth between both shows too. It doesn't seem like weird that they would ask her to do that. So it feels like she might, because she's wrestling Alexa next week. And yeah, I guess then she would be on SmackDown next week as well to be with Charlotte. And then the week after that, maybe she'll stop being on Raw, I guess. But I honestly, I could see them keeping her on both all the way to Mania, and it wouldn't feel weird. Like, she's transitioning off. It's like when people are like Sasha was on NXT and Raw at the same time for like a couple of months, and it was just you sometimes get that crossover transition. So I don't think it would be that weird.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. It was just it took me off guard a little bit. I'm really over all these men's music interrupting Charlotte's segments though. Like we had it with Bobby Roode, which kind of made sense because Bobby kind of is, they're partners, and he kind of like misdirected Ruby for a second, but like there's absolutely no reason whatsoever for Randy's music to interrupt the segment between Charlotte and Asuka. That was fucked up.
It was because Randy beat Bobby for the title, and so because Bobby was associated with Charlotte, that's why that happened. That's their logic. It's shitty.
Like I get it now that you explained it to me, but I watched all of the product, and I watch all the product, and I like produce shows. Like I get what they're foreshadowing and stuff, but like that didn't read to me at all. That just read as Randy being a dick.
I mean, yeah, true. I think that was the intention, but yeah, I agree that it's stop doing that.
Also, remember when I told you Randy was going to win, and you were
okay,
like, "I don't think so."
Here was my logic at the time for this, which I did not articulate. So, I didn't think that being a grand champion, a potential grand champion, meant you were definitely going to win. So I thought with Randy, he might not win this one and then would like win again later. So it didn't feel inevitable that people would win when they're slotted to be a grand champion. So that was my logic with him, which like in hindsight, it makes sense that if Randy is actually going to, please fucking God, retire soon, then they should just get it out. Like, he should just be done, and they can be done with it. But it also feels weird because Seth is up to be a grand champion at WrestleMania, so is it inevitable that he's going to win the belt as well? Because now it's, like, a thing that people inevitably become grand champions when they try. So, like, they did it with Jericho, and then they did it with Roman, and then did it with Dean, and then did it with Roman, and then they did it with Miz and with now Randy Orton. Like, it's just weird.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about this. Randy Orton has a belt. Who cares? It's going to be Randy versus Jinder and Bobby at WrestleMania. Who cares? I don't care at all.
Oh,
I only like Bobby Roode now when he's with Charlotte because I think they're funny together, and I like that she teaches him how to woo. I'm really over people trying to put them together as a couple because I don't. Charlotte herself did it, and I'm not a fan of that. And I don't like. We don't need Charlotte and Bobby as a couple. Like Alexa and Braun works because it's like funny, and like the people who are married work, but like we don't need every. Exactly. Charlotte and Bobby can just be like, we like robes.
Yeah. We're just friends. Yeah, and they have like really good playful chemistry, but unless they are literally a couple real life, I don't want to see it. Like it's that you can just be friends. It's okay. But WWE does seem determined to like latch them together. I was really disappointed when Beth Phoenix said her man and Corey called her out on it and she was like, "Oh yeah, I guess it just slipped out." Like, oh,
well, it's weird because Beth was scolding Corey Graves for doing it earlier.
yeah.
And then did it. And that's why because Corey Graves is a dick. So that's why he called her out on it.
Right.
Like, you were just saying it about me. Like,
yeah, exactly. So it felt like almost like she condoned it in a way. It was just I don't like it. It's so stupid. Like they don't need to be romantically linked. It's unnecessary.
Yeah, it's dumb. SmackDown ended with Sami and Kevin killing Shane McMahon,
which he deserved.
Shane was making the funniest sound.
He sounded like he was really giving like, birth.
Yeah, I'm sure it actually really hurt because he like actually got thrown on something. You know, you can do things as safe as whatever, but like you can't fake gravity. But like, it was like
I hope that's the title of this episode, please.
That's a Paloma quote. She says that all the time. But the thing that have you ever seen that video of the grape stomping lady where she's like stomping the wine and then falls out and makes a crazy noise? That's the noise.
Yes, that news anchor. Oh my god! I just thought about that video in years.
Oh, I watch it all the time still because it still makes me laugh.
Oh my god. You have to post it.
It's the funniest video. Me and Frankie used to watch it in, like, I think we were in high school when it came out. Like, it's old. It like the video quality is bad. It is a terrible video, but it's so funny.
It is so funny.
So Shane steps down as commissioner, and Cammy and Kevin and Sami are kind of in a feud together, but they're in a feud with Shane, and like he steps down. Does that mean it's going to be Shane versus Kevin versus Sami, or is it just going to be Kevin and Sami? I'm interested to see what happens.
I'm interested to see what happens as well. It's also strange that he says that he's taking an indefinite leave of absence. Like, what does that mean? Are you actually leaving? I've heard it's because he has some kind of injury, so I don't know if that's how much truth there is to that, but it seems probably likely because he is Shane McMahon and does a bunch of
jumps off his shit.
Yeah, exactly. He's treated his body like dirt for a long time, so it makes sense that it's not doing great. But I don't know. No basis to this whatsoever. I just feel like he announced this match between Cammy. I feel like he's gonna wind up as their ref, and he's gonna fuck both of them over. Like, they don't have anything else to do with Shane McMahon, and you know that he wants a match, so he's got to do something. And if he's injured in a way that means he can't jump off of shit, like, maybe he could take some kind of crazy bump as a ref that it wouldn't be a huge risk. Like, there's not a cell for him to jump off of, so maybe they can do something with him as a ref that can work. Like, there's always ref shenanigans at some point, so it feels like they could do that with him. But if that's the case, then that means that they're definitely going to be on the main card. Like, they're not going to put Shane McMahon on the show. There's fucking no way. So if that's the case, I guess that's good. In that case, I want Shane to be involved because that means they're guaranteed to be main card, and I want that for both of those guys. But it does, like, what else is Shane gonna? You know Shane's gonna be involved. Stephanie has a fucking match.
For sure. I have no idea. But I just think it's like they can't not have Sami and Kevin and Shane on WrestleMania. Like, something has to happen.
Yeah, for sure.
Any other thoughts about wrestling this week?
I mean, we're on the road to WrestleMania. Things are fine. Things are going well. I'm invested in some of the matches already, which is nice.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't talk about how Ronda wasn't there, but apparently she was having like a health screening at WWE, so she was technically at work. So I'm not mad at her. I mean, I don't. I just think like that's a WWE's fault, not her fault. They made her go sign up for health testing, but then they also promoted her at being in the show. Like, that's not really her fault. Like,
yeah, I agree.
We can be mad at her about a lot of things, but that's not her fault.
Also, I will say she did have a clever head. I mean, again, she's a trash human being, and I will always clarify with that. But she did have a really good quote earlier this week where someone asked her how likely it was that she would go back to UFC, and she said it was as likely as her going back to the Olympics for judo. I was like, oh, respect. Okay. So literally never. That are legit. Okay, cool. So I did enjoy that. I was like, all right, if you're going to be a wrestler and you want to commit to this, like, I want you to not be horrible. And if you're willing to really commit and really do it, like, okay, I'll believe you that you're trying. You're still trash garbage, but at least you're trying. It's better than someone who comes in and does piss nothing. like Brock. Like, I'm at this point more excited to see Ronda than to see Brock, which is like, I feel gross saying that, but it's also true.
I told you last week I'd rather see Ronda than Brock. I'd rather see Ronda with no training than Brock. I fucking hate Brock Lesnar.
He's just the goddamn worst.
So we do have an email with questions. Okay, so
all right.
This guy sent 5 questions, and only 2 of them are relevant to our podcast. I'm not going to do all of them. Okay.
Okay, that's fine. I have a one too. Hold on, let me pull it up.
From who?
I think it's from Joe Crack. He tweeted me a while ago. It was like right after the last podcast, so I had to take a screenshot of it.
What is it?
Okay. It's about the women's tag titles. With many fans desiring the return of the women's tag titles, how would that work with the brand split? They seem to be against floating champions being on both shows. Would joint pay-per-views make that easier?
Okay. Well, then this one. So I'll just do the one from here because the one that of the 2 that I was going to do was a tag question too. Okay. So
that's okay then. If it's a cohesive email, just do that one then.
No, Joe's question is better.
Okay.
So we have a question from a listener, Liam Tight, and the question is, do you think that my fellow Aussie Buddy Murphy will be in the cruiserweight division long, or will it be too hard for him to keep the weight off? I mean, he doesn't really have to keep the weight off, right?
No, he doesn't really.
Cedric Alexander does not weigh 205.
Well, they also
not weigh 205.
I asked the question, and I don't remember who it was that responded to me about this, but someone told me that they did have a segment, it may have been on WWE.com, where they clarified that because Buddy Murphy had to cut weight, he has to weigh in every week, and that's because he had to cut weight that he now has to do that. So, like, there is an explanation for it, and it is different than everybody else, but I think that maybe that does indicate that at some point he's going to weigh out, and is not going to, he's going to weigh over 205 and be moved out of that division. Like, if they're doing it every week, there's no way they're going to continue doing that forever. So it'll either become a moot point where, again, like Cedric Alexander and Neville, LOL, do not weigh 205 pounds at all. Like, it'll either become it doesn't matter anymore that he's so much bigger, or they'll use it to weigh him out. I thought that's what they were going to do with Cedric. When they introduced him into the CWC, they made a big deal about how he cut all this weight, and then they're like, never addressed it again. So maybe they're just doing that storyline with Buddy Murphy now.
Yeah, and I think he works really well in 205. I don't think that, and they don't have a place for him anywhere else. I think he will be there for a while, and they might just like relegate the weigh-ins to like the YouTube channel or something, or just be like, he made weight. That's all they have to say on commentary. They don't have to actually do a weigh-in.
Yeah, that's totally true. Once people have accepted it as part of the kayfabe, you can just like mention it, and people are like, oh, they mentioned it.
Right. So I think he'll be there for a while, and I want him to be there for a while. I think he'll get more opportunity. You know, the people who complain about 205 Live or have in the past, like, yeah, maybe it wasn't getting the time it deserved or the fan attention it deserves, but at least those people who like to wrestle, for the most part, they get time to wrestle and to do stuff that they would not get on the main roster.
Absolutely. Totally agree.
Or not main roster, but you know what I mean, on the other shows. So I hope Buddy Murphy stays on for a while, because I think he deserves to get to wrestle.
Yeah, I totally agree. And like, he's a good looking dude who is a good wrestler, and like, they need Australians because they fired the only one on the main roster. So like, bring him on in. I'm into that. I think it's a good thing.
Okay, you do your question.
Okay. Oh, my screen turned off. All right, here we go. Okay, we've got one more question too from Joe_Crack. With many fans desiring the return of the women's tag titles, how would that work with the brand split? They seem to be against floating champions being on both shows. Will joint pay-per-views make that easier, though?
What do you think?
I don't know. I feel like they might just add, I think they might just have 2. They might just add a tag belt for each of them, because they have a lot of women. They have so many women signed, and they have nothing to do with any of them. And so I feel like they'll start grouping people together on NXT, but not have like an official tag division there yet for the women, perhaps, unless they decide to add one also. But I don't know. I think he makes an interesting point with the the mixed pay-per-views going forward, because after WrestleMania, everyone's on both shows. So I like the idea of you only need to have really one division. It's just spread among two shows. Like, you can have a pretty deep tag division if it's everybody, but I don't know, maybe because it's the women, they'd be more open to it because it's innovative and they'll make history as the first belt to float between both brands or some bullshit. Like, I don't know. I feel like it is possible that they could float a women's belt, if only also just to make it different from the men's belt, which they like kind of want to do, but it's WWE, so like, God knows they'll just ignore everything. Like, I don't know. I'm not sure, honestly. I have a lot of thoughts about it, and they're just so dumb. I don't know.
Well, I think with the pay-per-views coming together for the most part, I think it makes sense to introduce it on a show. Like, introduce it on the show that has the bigger roster, or maybe just say like the Money in the Bank one technically floats. So I think I think you could open it up. It could be like for NXT too. Like any female like tag team can go for the belt if they are, can be present here, there, or whatever. You could do an open challenge for like whoever has the belt has an open challenge, and that open challenge they can come from anywhere. Like I think they could
really
be
cool.
innovative with it. I don't think they need two belts.
Yeah, I want two belts just because I want the women to have all of the nice things, but also like I think that's a really good idea because it's.
Hey, you're cutting out a lot.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Is it better? Am I still coming through?
Yeah, that whole segment cut in and out.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah, that whole segment cut in and out, so you have to start over.
Okay. I don't know, what was I saying? Yeah, I like the. Okay, I want there to be two belts because I want the women to have all of the things that the men have. That's like my instinct.
Ooh, but Erin, I think you're cutting in and out a lot now. You weren't at all during the show. It's just cutting in and out now.
I don't know why. I haven't done anything different.
Yeah, I can hear like every other word.
Do you want me to disconnect and reconnect?
I don't know. Try it again.
Okay. I want the women to have two belts because I want them to have all of the things that the men have. That's like my instinct, is that I want that. But I also like the idea of the women having a really innovative division that does something very different. And so, I don't know. I think I agree. I think that they don't necessarily need to have two belts. I think that if they're willing to commit to something innovative, which is kind of an ask of WWE, to be honest, that they could do something really cool.
Yeah. I mean, first step, they have to decide to have one. But
yeah. They could also, if it's a floating title, they could make it something really interesting and do like a trios, because they love to group three women together. So like, I think there's a lot of potential also, if they're going to be really innovative with it, to be like a floating 3-person thing, so that it's not all the time women's tag matches too.
For sure. Well, I think that's all that we have for this week. You can find us on the internet. I'm at Stella_Cheeks.
I'm at Urgency.
You can find us at notyourdemographic.wordpress.com, which is now open. I guess we have to figure out what we're going to do with it.
Oh, yeah, I guess so. Oh, Stella also, Stella wrote, she mentioned it earlier in the show, but wrote a really good piece about WWE's decision to use Moolah that everybody should read. It was really good.
Oh, well, thank you. You can also read my article about Laurel Van Ness and Laurel Van Ness and Allie and the Impact title if you want to peruse the shit that I've been writing for grad school. You can find us on at NotYourDemoPod on Twitter. So I want everybody to do this. I know a lot of you follow me and a lot of you follow Erin, but if everybody could take some time this week and follow the official Twitter, the official podcast Twitter, I would really appreciate it, because we've held off for it for a long time. And now I'm like, well, I know we have these listeners, and I just want them to follow the official one now too. So please just do that for my brain, my like selfish, I just want more followers on the podcast. Okay. What is it? Follow Friday at help me, you guys. Help me not feel insecure about our Not Your Demographic Twitter.
It's true. We did put it off for a super long time too.
Right. You can also email us at notyourdemopod @gmail.com. Nope, just you can email us at notyourdemo@gmail.com.
I think that's it.
And find us on iTunes and rate, review, and subscribe, and find us on Kate Side. Look, we did it all.
You did it all. That was impressive. We were like, this is it. We're done.
Well, it's, normally we can take cues like, I'm going to say this one. And then with the eyes, be like, I can't see you. Because
right.
when we do Google Hangouts, we just don't do the video. So our audio is better.
Yeah, that's true. I've just been staring at a pulsating picture of you, which is, I'm like making eye contact with it, even though I know you can't see me.
It's an old picture too.
I know. Mine is like 7 years old. It is so old. I'm bald in that picture.
All right. We got 2 words for you.
Pre-mode!
All right. Bye.
All right, bye.